welcome to the Splash Live at Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in your community. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We're live daily, weekdays at 9:30. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community, going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why they should be recognized for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. Although the snow is on the ground, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library still has their virtual programming. The library will be closed today because of the snow, but they have a bunch of events coming on next week. Some of those events next week are their 9:30 and 11 a.m. virtual Positively Preschool classes next Tuesday. They have their virtual storytelling at Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. with Laron. They will also be having a book talk next Thursday at 7 p.m. with Amor Tolles talking about his book, The Lincoln Highway. If you would like to register for these, you can do so by going to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library website in their events calendar page and register by clicking on the event of your choosing. The West Bloomfield Township Library also has those fantastic tender topic and literacy kits that you can rent out through youth services. If you're looking to either enhance your child's literacy or teach them about some of those tender topics, you can contact the library and schedule a time to rent out the kit of your choice. West Bloomfield Parks is working with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force to bring some new free events to celebrate Black History Month. The Black History 101 Museum is open to all ages. This event is this Saturday, February 5th from noon until 3 p.m. at the library. Founded by Dr. Khalid Al-Hakim, the Black History 101 Mobile Museum is an award-winning collection of original artifacts of Black memorabilia dating from the transatlantic slave ages to current hip-hop. They'll also have a special lecture and exhibition at 10 a.m. West Bloomfield Parks is also hosting a few other events to celebrate Black History Month in February, including the Love Yourself Wellness While Black event, open for ages 16 and up on Saturday, February 12th from 9 a.m. until 11:30, and on Saturday, February 26th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Orchard Mall. They will be hosting their Black Expo. This is a fun event with a DJ and some vendors there. For all these events, you can head over to the West Bloomfield Parks website to register. The last event we want to look at is the Sylvan Lake Game Night events. This event is perfect if you're looking for something fun to do this winter, especially with the snow on the ground. Whether you go alone or with friends, Sylvan Lake Game Nights are a great way to socialize safely with your neighbors and friends. You can bring any games that you would like. They also will provide some games there, including card games, euchre, and mahjong. Sylvan Lake Game Nights take place every Wednesday when there is not a Sylvan Lake board meeting in the community center. Game night starts at 5:30 p.m. and will go to about 9 p.m. at the community center. This event is open to all Sylvan Lake residents, and you're welcome to bring family and friends. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with Chris Frey, the Park Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation. But before that, with all of this new beautiful snow on the ground, we aren't the only ones enjoying it. The animals around Greater West Bloomfield are too. If you are curious about what types of animals make those cool tracks on the ground, we walked in the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary with Carol Fink, who showed us the different types of animal tracks and how to tell which animal made them. Let's go check it out. If you've ever wondered what animals made certain tracks in the snow, we walked the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary to get some tips and tricks from Carol Fink on how to become an expert.
Hey, good morning. My name is Carol Fink. I'm at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, one of my favoriteest places in the world. Beautiful place to be all seasons of the year. Winter happens to be one of my favorite times because in the winter woods you're able to see a lot more of the hints that nature shows us. So a lot of people come out here, families come here. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. What works for me is when I walk in the woods, I'm entering into a beautiful, sacred, magical place. So I'm actually coming into the woods. I usually stop, take a couple breaths, leave to the rest of the world behind me, and come in and enjoy and be surrounded by beautiful nature.
Let's go take a look now at some of the tracks that Carol and I found outside at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary.
One, they're small. Two, they hop. Three, they have a tail, and that tail rubs in the snow as they walk or run. actually came here, and they can also dive under the snow because mice, moles, and voles are really good food for predators. So they have a great ability to hide under the snow. So once again, tracks in the snow tell us a story. I'm looking at these particular tracks here. They're going in a fairly straight line, and I am assuming they are either a fox or a coyote. However, fox, coyote, they're always looking for food for their survival. So one of the ways that you can identify their tracks is they come in a straight line. They can walk in another coyote's footprints. So a lot of times if they're being pursued, it might look like there's only one coyote, but actually there could be 4 or 5 of them. So it's really awesome to look and see what's going on in the woods. Okay, back to the tracks. We've got a lot of small animals, like as we saw a lot of evidence with the mice, the jumping mice with the tail. These smaller tracks belong either to a mole or a vole, and they're very teeny little mammals that live mostly underground. They have very small eyes, but they're also, you can follow their tracks. They are really, I just think they're such an entertaining track. So they also stay low, you know, when the owls or the hawks are out, but these are either mole or vole tracks. Okay, as we travel and make our own tracks, I'm looking over here, I'm seeing deer trails. Deer usually follow each other, so a lot of times established deer trails will have several deer on them. We're looking at their feet, they've got heart-shaped hooves, so it's kind of fun to figure out, are they going this way or are they going that way?
Now it's your turn to take a hike in the sanctuary, enjoy the fresh snow, and find those unique animal tracks. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you again to Carol Fink for giving us a quick lesson on the different types of animal tracks you may see in the outdoors, especially with all that new snow on the ground. Later on, we'll be checking out a great place in West Bloomfield that is keeping seniors active and social this cold winter months. But before that, we'll be joined by Curt Frey, Park Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation, to talk about how the snow is impacting the parks here. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm Maddie Muschin. It is now time to talk with Curt Frey, Park Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation. Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
Chris, could you first start off by telling us, as the Park Supervisor right now, what types of things are you dealing with due to the snow in the parks?
Well, mostly cleaning the snow. We started yesterday morning with 3/4 of the staff. We started about 6 o'clock in the morning, right when it was changing from rain to snow. And we worked from 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and our last guy went home at 1 a.m. this morning. And we were back this morning at 5:30, back in the trucks, back on the sidewalks, re-cleaning everything for the 3rd and 4th time. So we've basically been cleaning snow for the last 24, probably going on 48 hours.
And Chris, with the snow that's coming down pretty hard yesterday and the day before, can you give us a little bit of insight into some of the parks, if the kids have been enjoying the sledding or making some snowmen or having some snowball fights? Just give us some insight into if you've seen any of the people here in West Bloomfield enjoying those parks.
Sure. We have the park system. We maintain 2 fairly large sled hills. One of them is here at Marchbank Park off of Hiller Road. The other one is behind the main branch of the library in the Civic Center complex. Both of them were fairly busy yesterday. I'm sure they're going to be just as busy, if not busier, today, with schools being canceled again today. So there was a lot of kids out yesterday afternoon and early evening. I know on the trail network that runs from township line to township line, we maintain about 7.5 miles of that on the West Bloomfield Trail. There was a lot of cross-country skiing going on, snowshoeing going on. I do believe at some point today we are going to have snowshoe rental going on at our main office in the Civic Center Plaza. So you could call the Parks and Recreation office and you can take some snowshoes out for a walk behind Town Hall and the library on the trails back there. So yeah, there was people and kids everywhere yesterday in the parks for sure, and I'm sure they'll be out there again today.
Chris, you answered the exact question that I wanted to ask you. We were talking to Megan Kernat about snowshoeing and how prior to the big snowstorm we got yesterday, the snow might not have been perfect for snowshoeing, but you have answered that, and obviously you can rent those snowshoes out there. If you just want to give us some insight, we were talking with Megan and she wasn't quite sure how many inches of snow you needed for it to be perfect for the snowshoeing, but if you just wanted to tell us how that impacts the snowshoeing here in West Bloomfield.
Sure. Ideal, we need probably at the minimum 3 inches. Obviously, anything more than that is great, but at minimum 3 inches. There is some little bit of an aluminum type of apparatus on the bottom of the snowshoes to get a little bit of traction for the ice. And if there's not enough snow, that will kind of dig into the grass, dig into the trails, dig into any kind of fallen lumber or timber that's out there. So anything over 3 inches is ideal.
And Chris, with the snow, people either are embracing it, as you've mentioned, or they're looking to warmer days ahead. Can you tell us a little bit about the spring park opening updates for West Bloomfield parks that we can see in the upcoming months?
Sure. It's very weather dependent. It could be snowing on a Monday and be sunny and 60 by Friday, as everybody knows. So we definitely don't have a drop dead date that we do things, but it's very weather dependent. We usually shoot for about the middle of March. As soon as we see some snow melting, we can get tennis courts and pickleball courts back open. We can start working on our ball fields and soccer fields and get them set up for those kind of activities to start. A majority of our park restrooms are non-heated, so currently they're closed for the winter. They're blown out and winterized. The only park restroom that we have is at Marchbank, which is a year-round heated facility, so that obviously stays open. But the second one at Marchbank and all the other ones in the parks are all winterized and closed right now. And again, that's a weather-dependent deal. As soon as we can get some non-freezing temperatures at night, we can get those opened, and we have to test the water through the county and make sure everything's good, and then we can open those. That usually happens about the middle of April. Again, weather-dependent. We've had them open before in March. We've had to wait as long as May. So as soon as we see some light at the end of the tunnel with the white stuff going away, we can get out there and get things open back up. Obviously, all the parks are open currently for you to enjoy the snow. For those that enjoy the snow can enjoy the snow and do some walking and some exploring. But as far as getting them ready for spring, it usually happens around the middle of March. Restrooms open in the middle of April.
And Chris, to get those parks and the fun programs and activities that you guys have ready for the spring and summer, the parks can't operate without staffing. Could you tell us a little bit about some of your spring and summer staffing needs as we head into the hiring season? Definitely.
Yes, staffing has been a struggle the last couple of years. We employ here in the Parks Department, we employ anywhere from, we try to get 10 to 15 seasonal staff. We've had people fresh out of high school that have never had jobs before. We've had all the way up to retirees who just want work a couple hours a day, either working in our flower beds or our gardens or dragging ball fields, or just picking up trash or being a park ranger in the evening. So we're always looking for staff. You can go to our website. There's a link on our website to job applications. Not only is the Parks Department looking for work for staff, but our camp people are looking for staff. Our splash pad, our new splash pad that opened last year, they're also looking for staff. So right now we're definitely trying to wrangle in some folks. We're making calls out to the people who worked for us last year, and we've been trying to attend a few job fairs. Yesterday, some of our staff was supposed to go up to Central Michigan University for a job fair. But with the weather, that got canceled. So I'm sure they'll be going up on the makeup day. But we're always looking for staff. You can always go to our website. There's a link right on our website. But we can work staff 40 hours a week. It doesn't matter if you want to work 20 hours or 10 hours or 30 hours. We'll do anything. We work around part-time staff if folks have a second job or a first job and they're looking for a second job, or if they're taking summer classes, or they just want a little extra spending money. We'll work around anybody's schedule and plug you in where you fit and give you some hours whenever you need them. So we're open to anything.
As we wrap up, Chris, is there anything else you wanted to share either about the snow or your position in West Bloomfield Parks as the park supervisor?
No, I think we've summed it up today. Like I said, obviously we all see out the window. It's cold, so be careful out there. Dress warm. There is lots of snow. Be careful on them sled hills. On both sled hills, there is aisleways for people to walk back up. So please don't walk back up the centers of the hill where people are sliding. Use the designated paths, and just stay safe out there.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Chris.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Once again, I was joined by West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Park Supervisor Chris Frey. During the snowstorm and the cold winter months, West Bloomfield Parks is not only creating those fun outdoors events, but they also have the ideal spot for West Bloomfield seniors to stay active and social. Splash reporter Brendan Schreiber took a look into West Bloomfield Connect and the programs and activities they provide for West Bloomfield seniors, including they have those ping pong tables and those programs there. He talked to Heidi at the West Bloomfield Connect, so let's go check it out.
Here in West Bloomfield, WB Parks has plenty of winter activities to keep seniors moving. At the WB Connect Center at Orchard Lake Mall, we spoke with Heidi Russell to see what WB Parks has to offer in the winter.
My name is Heidi Russell. I am the Senior Operations Coordinator for West Bloomfield Parks Connect. We're in our Connect space. And in the wintertime, we have all different kinds of drop-in programs, which is certainly going on right now. We have our open game room today. We have our drop-in ping pong. So you may be hearing some ping pong action in the background. But we also have our fitness classes, which just started back in February. So we have an awful lot of things that are going on here at Connect.
An important matter to address, we also asked what type of COVID precautions are being implemented.
We are requiring everyone who comes into our building to now wear a mask, which is why I'm masked. I wish that wasn't the case right now, but just to keep us all safe. For participants, staff, visitors, any speakers who come in to Connect, we all wear masks.
During our interview, Heidi also informed us about their most popular classes and programs.
Well, certainly I can tell you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, our Stretch and Tone program is an ongoing fitness program that's been run by volunteers over many years. That's from 9 to 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we have open game room today, and we also have ping pong, which I mentioned. It's our drop-in program. And you'll get to see some footage, I believe, today. But the ping pong program is very popular. And we have ping pong players who come in on Tuesday, Thursday, and on Friday afternoons. So those are some of our really popular programs. And then we have some of our special events. We're going to have a St. Patrick's Day luncheon here that we're going to be hosting. We have a Valentine's Day luncheon we're hosting. So some of the special events are certainly things that people look forward to as well.
Finally, Heidi told us just how one can get involved and sign up for classes.
You can go online to our website, which is wbparks.org, and check out our guide there. You can also call our office at the phone number 248-451-1900 and register any class that you'd like over the phone.
To keep active during this winter, check out WB Connect. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Brendan Schreiber.
If you're interested in getting yourself or a loved one involved at WB Connect, you can make sure to contact them or register for their programs online at wbparks.com. We're going to take a short break, but when we get back, we'll be talking with Curt Lawson, Deputy Chief for West Bloomfield Police Department, to talk with us about staying safe on the snow, with the snow on the roads.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
11 teens a day die from texting and driving. Don't text and drive.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We are now joined by Curt Lawson, Deputy Chief for West Bloomfield Police Department. Curt, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you.
As the snow has canceled school and caused many businesses in Greater West Bloomfield to close, Curt, what type of precautions are the police department taking to ensure that those who are out on the roads are staying safe?
Well, like you, we're continually monitoring the weather. We're always going on different stations, different meteorologists to see what they have to say about the upcoming weather. Thankfully, in this snowstorm, it's been a little bit less than they predicted, so that's a good thing. But the police department, we upstaff our patrol shifts, we upstaff our communication center. Anytime that we know there's severe weather or there's a major event, we're going to make sure we're fully staffed. We put our officers strategically placed throughout the township to make sure that we can monitor those road conditions and that we can quickly get to our residents and commuters as quickly as possible to give them the help that they need. So we continue to kind of lean on our partnerships with the Oakland County Road Commission, the West Bloomfield Fire Department, to make sure that the roads stay clear, that they stay safe. But when the roads are icy, like we've seen this morning, we encourage motorists whenever possible just to stay home. And we've seen that throughout yesterday and today. The traffic volumes are much lower than you'd expect on a normal day.
Curt, for those who do decide to brave those tough driving conditions this morning and throughout today, do you have any advice for them or things that you've seen in accidents either yesterday or in previous snowy conditions that drivers can do to avoid an accident?
Sure. And like I said, we've gotten very lucky with individuals staying home the last couple of days, and we've seen a lower number of traffic crashes than we'd actually expect with the road conditions like they are. But just remember, if there's a winter advisory or you look on our social media sites here at the police department and we're telling you that the roads are icy, but you have to go out, check your vehicle, make sure that your windshield fluid is full. Check your tire treads, make sure you have a nice tread on those tires, that you have plenty of gas. And think about what happens if you do get stranded, even if it's for a short time. Maybe have a blanket in the car, a hat, especially for me, if you have no hair, gloves, and don't forget to have a fully charged cell phone.
Curt, for your officers that are out keeping West Bloomfield safe today and yesterday, obviously you guys are going to be making sure that you're getting to an accident or a problem as quick as possible, but what are they doing to make sure that they are staying safe on the roads and as well with those snowy conditions?
Well, what we always tell our officers is they're not going to be able to help anyone unless they get there safely. So it's the same thing we tell our residents and the public. You need to drive at a safe speed. Keep plenty of distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you. You never know when you'll run into black ice, so you want plenty of time to be able to stop before you hit that car in front of you, right? So we encourage our officers to make sure there's no vision obstructions, get all the snow off their windshield and off their taillights, And then we usually send 2 officers to every scene. So we have a backup officers, and they can kind of watch each other's back regarding traffic and things like that. So our number one priority here at the West Bloomfield Police Department is our officer safety. And obviously we want to make sure they're safe so they can help the community.
Curt, we also talked to you previously about that text 911 feature that the police department has enacted here in West Bloomfield. Could you give us an update about how that has been working in the community so far?
So text to 911 has been a fantastic tool for us. Right now, it has not been used a whole lot, but it's one of those things that's available to our residents. If they can't speak over the phone safely, whether it's a medical emergency or there's a crime in progress, and they'd like to text to our dispatch center, we're going to immediately get an alert and we're going to be texting back. And then if you don't even speak English, we're able to translate that into whatever language you speak. You know, we live in a very diverse community here, so we want to do whatever we can to effectively communicate with our residents. One of the things that I'd like to say is that the township has decided to invest heavily within our communication center. We're going to be rebuilding that center over the next year, and I believe we're going to have one of the best communication centers in Oakland County.
Curt, with that text to 911 addition that you guys have implemented here in West Bloomfield, how is that benefiting your officers in the police department with that new feature?
Well, it benefits all of us because as quick as we can receive the information, we can get help to our residents and to the community. So it's just another tool to effectively communicate. And I think in a lot of situations, communication is the key.
Curt, as we wrap up, is there anything else you would like to share either about staying safe on the roads during these winter conditions or anything else with updates in the police department?
Sure, just 2 quick reminders. Pet safety. We sometimes get calls, especially when it's really cold out, from neighbors that, you know, people are leaving their pets out for an extended period of time. We just want to remind you that, you know, just because your pet has fur doesn't mean that it can stay out in freezing temperatures for a long period of time. So make sure that your animal, whether it's a dog, a cat, whatever kind of pet you have, has plenty of food and water, and bring your pets inside so they can stay warm. Another thing that we've seen throughout the community over the last about month is we've seen an increase in the number of vehicles that have been broken into at night or entered if they're unlocked. So we encourage our residents to make sure they park in a garage, or they park in a lighted area, or they have a motion light near their vehicle. We've seen quite a few residents over the past maybe 2 years that have invested in cameras, and that's been great for us so we can, you know, establish suspects and patterns and things like that. So just be aware that even though this is a very safe community, there's still people out there doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So do what you can to protect yourself.
Well, Curt, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Once again, I've been joined by Curt Lawson. He is the Deputy Chief for West Bloomfield Police Department. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Chris Frey, Park Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation, and Curt Lawson, Deputy Chief of Police for the Police Department here in West Bloomfield, for joining us this morning. Special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom and making sure our guests joined us. As always, thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, Monday through Friday at 9:30 to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. You can also watch our show each morning on My Michigan TV, the new streaming service that covers all the great people and events happening around Michigan. If you want to download their free app or watch live, you can go to mymitv.com. That is mymitv.com. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kiko Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.